Welcome back to part 96 of our explainer series here on Decode Healthcare with Harshal. Let's set a fast-paced, authoritative tone right out of the gate today because we've got a critical mission. We are decoding the ICD-10-CM exam traps that catch even the most fiercely prepared candidates completely off guard. Listen, if you're gearing up for your AAPC or AHIM board exams, whether that's the CPC, the CCS, or the CIC, you already know test makers absolutely love distractor patterns. They prey on those gray areas in the official guidelines. But by the end of this masterclass, you're going to see right through them. Okay, let's dive into the syllabus. We're going to conquer 3 highly tested distractor traps today. First up, the diabetes with presumption. Second, the HTN and CKD trifecta. Third, etiology and manifestation rules. And finally, a quick wrap-up and a look at next time. I want to remind you of something super important before we start. You do not need fluff. You need precise, high-yield guideline interpretations to pass your board exams. Medical coding isn't just randomly assigning numbers, right? It's an exact science of abstracting information. The folks writing these exams know exactly where you're likely to second-guess yourself. They purposely design multiple choice options that look totally correct but secretly violate a core coding convention. Today, we bypass those distractors and we lock in the rules. Section 1. The diabetes with presumption. So let's deconstruct our first trap, focusing on one of the most misunderstood rules in the entire manual, the automatic causal relationship. Here's a classic mock board exam question for you. Imagine you're reading a clinic note. The provider writes, type 2 diabetes in one sentence. Then, a few lines down, completely disconnected, they write stage 3 chronic kidney disease. Notice what is intentionally missing here, the phrase due to. The physician did not explicitly link these two conditions. So what do? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how easily people fall for the distractor. The trap is picking E11.9, which is type 2 diabetes without complications, and just adding a separate code for the CKD. I mean, it feels safe, right? Because the doctor didn't explicitly write diabetic chronic kidney disease. But unbundling into E11.9 is a massive score-killing mistake. The reality is you absolutely must use the combination code E11.22 for type 2 diabetes with diabetic chronic kidney disease, followed by the CKD stage. Why? Because the manual makes the connection for you. Let's drop the hammer with the official guideline reality. CMS Guideline Section IA15 is super clear on this. It says, the classification presumes a causal relationship between the two conditions linked by these terms in the alphabetic index or tabular list. This forces you to use the combination code even without explicit provider linkage, unless the physician explicitly writes that the CKD is completely unrelated to the diabetes. You have to combine them. We really need to drill this non-negotiable rule into our minds. If a condition is listed under the word with in the index, that linkage is automatic. It's not a suggestion, it's a structural mandate. So if you look up diabetes and chronic kidney disease is tucked right under with, boom, it's linked. Do not fall for that unbundled distractor on exam day. Moving on to Section 2, the HTN and CKD trifecta. Let's shift from diabetes to the deadly unbundling trap of hypertension, heart disease, and kidney disease. Here's your scenario. A patient presents with hypertension, congestive heart failure, and stage 4 CKD. Test makers are practically rubbing their hands together here. They're hoping you'll panic, see 3 distinct, heavy-hitting diagnoses, and try to code each one individually. And this is exactly how distractors prey on the unprepared. The wrong approach is stacking 3 separate codes, I-10 for essential hypertension, I-50.9 for the heart failure, and N-18.4 for the CKD. It honestly looks so logical, but the reality requires the unified category I-13 combination code. The correct coding is I-13.0, which encompasses the hypertensive heart and chronic kidney disease with heart failure, followed by the specific heart failure code I-50.9, and finally the CKD stage code N-18.4. We don't guess in this explainer, we check this source. Guideline IC 9-A-3 is highly authoritative here. It mandates that you assign codes from combination category I-13 when there is hypertension with both heart and chronic kidney disease. The manual assumes a cause and effect relationship. Category I-13 literally bundles the concepts of hypertensive heart disease and hypertensive chronic kidney disease into one mandatory package. If you see all 3 in a patient's chart, category I-13 is absolutely non-negotiable. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact checklist you need to memorize. The very second you see hypertension, plus a specified heart disease like CHF, plus chronic kidney disease, alarm bells should be ringing in your head. Do not code I-10, do not code I-11, do not code I-12. Having all three elements triggers the mandatory category I-13 combination code trap. If you master this checklist, you'll be able to eliminate distractor multiple choice answers in a heartbeat. All right, Section 3. Etiology and manifestation rules. Listen to me closely on this one, because this specific rule will instantly kill your exam score if you violate it. It's a fundamental law of ICD 10-CM syntax. Let's simulate a high-pressure exam environment. Your patient has rheumatoid neuritis with localized amyloidosis. When you look at the multiple choice options, I want you to focus heavily on slot number 1, the primary diagnosis, because one of those options is going to instantly reveal itself as a trap based entirely on its formatting. The fatal error is selecting any option where a bracketed manifestation code, like G63 for polyneuropathy, is sequenced first. G63 is a manifestation. You literally can't put it in slot 1. The correct answer has to sequence the underlying etiology first, which is E85.4 for the localized amyloidosis, followed by the manifestation code G63. If you ever see a manifestation code taking the primary diagnosis spot, cross that answer out immediately. It is an automatic failure. Let's clearly define what a manifestation code actually is, just so there's zero confusion. It's a secondary condition caused by an underlying disease, which we call the etiology. In your ICD-10 index, these codes are physically printed in brackets. In the tabular list, they're typically italicized and have the phrase, "in diseases classified elsewhere," in their title. A manifestation code physically cannot go in slot number 1, because by definition, it's a secondary process. It literally relies on a primary cause to even exist. To really anchor this, let's look at official section IA13. It is incredibly blunt. It states that in diseases classified elsewhere codes are never permitted to be used as first listed or principal diagnosis codes. They have to be used in conjunction with an underlying condition code, and they must follow it. The board examiners know that when you're stressed and staring at a ticking clock, you might just grab the first code you see in the index and slap it in slot 1. Don't fall for it. Let's move to our next point and see how this builds a foolproof physical lookup process to keep you totally grounded in your coding manual. Step 1, locate your main term in the alphabetic index. Step 2, identify the primary etiology code. Step 3, right next to it, note that manifestation code listed in brackets. Step 4, always sequence that bracketed code second. It's a paired set, but the order is entirely locked by those brackets. Finally, Section 4, wrap up and next time. Let's shift into rapid-fire review mode to solidify what we just covered. So the crucial point is that you now have the exact tools to survive 3 of the most brutal distractor traps on the board exams. You know to automatically assume the linkage when you see conditions under with for diabetes. You know to look for that mandatory category I-13 combination code for the HTN, CKD, and heart disease trifecta. And you know to instantly eliminate any option that puts a bracketed manifestation code in slot 1. You are officially operating with board-level mastery. If you write one single thing on a sticky note today and slap it on your monitor, make it this. Manifestation codes never go in slot number 1. It is a hard, fast, unbreakable rule, and remembering this simple visual pattern interrupt will absolutely save you points on exam day. Which brings us to our next challenge. Are you ready for obstetrics, delivery complications, and the incredibly complex newborn rules? Because that is exactly what we are decoding in Part 97. Make sure you like this explainer and subscribe to Decode Healthcare with Harshal so you don't miss it. I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. If you think causal relationships are tricky right now, just wait until you see how pregnancy completely overrides every single rule we covered today. Keep those coding manuals close, and I'll catch you in the next one.